I'm Tony Svensson. I'm the outreach pastor, and so we're going to train you on how to do the 3 circles. So 3 circles, this is a very simple way that you can teach children, anybody really, how to share the gospel. And so the gospel really is very simple, and so we've given you kind of an outline to follow. But just know that there's many ways to share the gospel, and so there's many ways to share the 3 circles. And so this is just kind of a basic way that we can start to think about how we can both train ourselves to share the gospel and then teach the children how to share the gospel. So here's a simple way that you can share the 3 circles. So in the beginning, God created a perfect world. And Adam and Eve were friends with God. But God says all of us have sinned against him. And because of that, everything went wrong. But God still loved us, and so he sent Jesus. And Jesus died for our sins. And if we turn and put our trust in Jesus, we can be restored and have a new life with God. But you can only be in one of 2 places. You are in this wrong relationship with God, or you're in a perfect relationship with God. Where would you find yourself today? And then we give them a decision. If you find yourself here, would you like to trust in Jesus and be restored into a new relationship with God again? So after you get kind of the basic structure of the 3 circles, you'll find that there's a lot of ways that you can kind of adapt it and kind of ways that you feel comfortable sharing it. So I'm just going to give you another real quick version of how I might share it. So in the beginning, God created a perfect world in which we loved God and God loved us. We had a perfect relationship with God. But God says all of us have departed from his perfect plan for our lives, his design. God calls that sin. It's rebellion against God. And so because of that, we live in a broken world where we see a lot of things that happen that aren't as they should be. We see broken relationships, broken families, broken dreams, and so on. And we're all trying to find happiness, peace, contentment, and joy in a broken world. But God says the wage of our sin is death. But God still loved us because he created us for a relationship. So he wants to restore that relationship. And he did that by coming to earth and putting on flesh in the person of Jesus Christ. And Jesus did for us what we couldn't do for ourselves. He lived a perfect sinless life and said he was willing to die for our sins because he loved us so much. And to prove that he had the power to do that, he rose again from the grave so that we could have a new life. But he says we have to make a choice. We have to turn and stop trying to find happiness on our own. We have to turn and put our faith in Jesus. And he says if we do that, if we make him Lord of our lives, that he will restore us into a new relationship with God again. He takes our sin upon the cross, and in exchange for our sin, he gives us his righteousness, which restores us into this new relationship with God again. And as we follow and learn from Jesus, he tells us to go back into the broken world and tell the world that he loves the world so much that he sent his only begotten Son, that whoever should believe in him will not perish but have everlasting life again. So you can only be in one of 2 places. You're either in a broken world trying to find happiness but falling short, or you're in a perfect relationship with God through faith in Jesus Christ. Where would you find yourself today? And so we always give people an invitation to point out where they're at in the circles and give them an opportunity to respond to faith in Jesus. And again, there are many, many more ways you can share the gospel, many more scriptures, many more stories that you could roll into this. But the point is keep the gospel very simple. God loved us. We live in a broken world. God's plan to restore the relationship is he came, he died, and rose again. Put our faith in Jesus, we can be restored to God again. So I would encourage you as we train the children this week to share the gospel, think about how the gospel can be used by you. And I would encourage you to learn a way to share the 3 circles for yourself and with people that you know. And thanks for this opportunity. God bless.